Breach, most of you are familiar with at this point, but Breach has been a member of Toastmaster since 2009, so that's really, 7 years, when she first joined the Top Club in Letterkenny. And Breach took an active role and she became the VPE, the Vice President of Education for the Letterkenny Top Club. She was the first, she was a founder member, of Foyle Speakers, and becoming involved in the committee, and then going on to become VPE, Vice President of Education, here with our club. And subsequently she was President in 2014 to 15, when we chartered officially. Breach, no doubt you had something to do with us chartering, a lot to do. And Breach has achieved her CC, or Competent Communication, and Competent CL, that is Competent Leadership Awards from Toastmasters, and continues on her journey of self-discovery through the Toastmasters education program. Breach is the PR officer, that was that I said there, public relations, this year for Foyle Speakers. And she works as a social worker for the HSE in children's mental health. I am really looking forward to your speech. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mary Pat. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'd like to invite Mary Pat to come into the circle here. As you can see, I have arranged the seats here so that we can be in a circle. Okay, and I have a deliberate reason why I've done that. Okay, so the art of conversation, and tonight I'm going to explore various ways and various levels of conversation. I'm just going to read this quote from the actual manual that I'm using, and it says, "Conversation is an important part of life. Talking with someone else stimulates us, it provides new ideas and enables us to explore ideas we already have. It also fulfills a basic need, which is human contact. Every friendship that enriches our lives began with a conversation." So there's various levels of conversation, okay, and the first level of conversation is small talk. And a very basic example of small talk is about the weather, okay. And tonight I'm going to ask people, okay, we're going to do a kind of a practical thing that everybody here tonight, apart from Celine and Charlie, because Charlie's going to help me as a timer, but I'm going to ask everybody else apart from Cliff, who's got a video, and to actually stand up now. Everybody stand up. And what you're going to do is find a partner. You're going to find someone that you don't really know very well, because it's all about small talk, okay? And think weather, small talk. First of all, say your name, and then it's going to be about the weather. So find a partner, everybody now, pair up with somebody. The Toastmaster, walk to the room and find somebody to speak to.
I am very brave.
Okay. So
We know each other.
yeah,
I'm going to have to go with you, Claire.
down there. Okay guys. So I'm just going to interrupt you for a moment, Charlie. I can see that people have started the small talk before I've even asked them to start the small talk. But am I a bit surprised? Excuse me now, everybody, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. I don't want to stop talking. No, stand over here, stand together. I haven't actually started yet what I wanted you to do, okay? So put yourselves as number one and number two. So Mary Pat, you're number one, you're number two, number one, number two, number one, number two, number one, number two, okay? Mm-hmm. And number one, what I want you to do is introduce yourself to the persons if you've met for the first time, and just talk about the weather. Charlie's going to time you for 30 seconds, okay? And the person, number two, has to listen, okay? It's all about listening. because then we're going to reflect back what the person said to you. Okay, so Charlie, start off the 30 seconds and go.
Hey, dude.
It's just what I'm doing here.
Okay, thank you very much. So, whenever you first meet somebody, whenever you're first going up to somebody and you're talking to somebody, one of the things you're going to think about is your actual space between you and the person, your personal space. So usually it's kind of arm's length, okay, whenever you're first meeting somebody, that's kind of etiquette, alright? Another thing that you're going to think about whenever you're looking into somebody's face and you're talking to them, okay, one of the skills, I think I read this in Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, if anybody knows that book. So when you're looking into somebody's face, if you stare right into their eyes, just say you're in an interview and you're trying to show that you're paying attention and you're staring into the person's eyes, that can be almost aggressive. So one of the little tricks that you do, okay, to help you demonstrate that you're paying attention, but you're doing something different that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. So what you're doing is you look at the first eye, maybe the left eye, then you might look at the right eye, then you might look at the person's nose, then you might look at their mouth, then you might look at their left eyebrow, and then the right. So you're looking around the face. So it's a gentle, gentle feeling of you're paying attention to me, but you're not staring right into my eyes. You're making it easy for me. Okay? So that's just a wee tip that I wanted to just share with you whenever you're doing body language. Okay? Now, what I want you to do now, number 2, I want you to take 30 seconds now and I want you to reflect back the person's name and what they said about the weather. Okay, Charlie, you ready with 30 seconds?
Yeah.
To each other. And this is going to be, so number 2 is reflecting back what number 1 said to you. Okay, as much as you can remember. You're not going to get in trouble if you don't, alright? Just do your best to remember what they said. Charlie, you ready with 30 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Then you can follow that.
I tried discreetly move from eyebrow to eyebrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Now, number 1, put up your hand if you think that number 2 was actually listening to you. Put your hand up. Okay, so it looks like everybody in the room is paying attention with their listening skills. So thank you very much, everybody. I'd just like to invite you all to sit down. Even though some people in the room may have felt a bit demure or a little shy, they still got up and participated. Okay, so thank you to everybody. So the second level, so that's the first level of communication. The second level of communication is a fact disclosure. So what you're doing is you're disclosing a wee bit of information about yourself. It could be about your job or about your hobby, and just something that's true about yourself. So that's the second level. And the third level of communication is about your views, your opinions. And an example of an opinion would be maybe your view on politics. Okay. Now it's important to remember that if you do go, for example, last week, the last meeting we were here, it was the day of Trump winning the elections, and you know, it was very easy for all of us to start talking about that the minute you come in the room, even with a stranger. But normally you wouldn't reveal you wouldn't talk about politics. unless you were kind of getting into a conversation maybe with your friends or someone that you would kind of feel fairly familiar with. You wouldn't normally do it at the start because you would feel that just too much for a person to take on board. So whenever you're in the audience as well with Toastmasters, you have to ensure that you know how your face and your you know how you're coming across to people. Okay, so just be aware of your expressions, and of course in conversation, whenever you're looking into somebody's face, try not to yawn or try not to screw your face up, or just being aware of yourself in your conversation, because this is an encouraging environment and we're trying to encourage each other. All right. So that's the third level of conversation is about your point of view. And then moving on to the fourth level of conversation, this is the point whenever you would reveal a wee bit about yourself, maybe talk about your family, your children, maybe some problems with your children. And so that's kind of opening up yourself, your feelings, and just being more open and more deep about yourself. So usually that takes a while before you would really do that as well with friends. So with regards to body language, it's just important to remember your personal space, you know how far you are whenever you're talking to somebody, eye contact, and the biggest thing of all is listening skills. Listening to somebody when they're speaking to you, not thinking about what you're going to say, you know, jumping in before the person, really listening to the person, showing that you're listening and caring about the conversation, because that's showing total respect. And as it says in this is an anonymous quote that I found, but I thought it was lovely, so I put it in here. It says, "Speak in such a way that others love to listen to you, and listen in such a way that others love to speak to you." Thank you.
I like that.